Hello everyone, Mike Starks with RE/MAX Town & Country here with the 2023 Mid-Year Real Estate Market Report for Fredericksburg, Texas and Gillespie County. And this year it's kind of become a regular thing for people to kind of pull me aside and whisper, how's the real estate market? And that's just because there's a lot of concern on the street, with all the doom and gloom on the news, the interest rates continuing to rise, a lot of economic uncertainty in the world. So a lot of folks are thinking, real estate must just be really taking a beating and must be just really way down. And the answer to that is, well, kind of yes and no. As I discussed in the first quarter report, I expected to see the total volume of sales to be affected, and it's way down, but I did not think that we'd really see much of a change in prices. And really, that's kind of the mid-year market report in a nutshell. But if you want to hear the details of that, then let's just jump straight into the numbers. As always, let's start by looking at all the real estate sales in Gillespie County for the first half of this year, and we'll compare that to how we did last year for the first 6 months. So for 2023, the total dollar sales in Gillespie County were a little over $171 million. You compare that to 2022, where in the first half we'd sold a little over $279 million. That's a pretty significant drop of like 38.61%. But when you're looking at that, you also kind of have to keep in mind that the last couple of years have been pretty much unprecedented. And I think everyone was thinking continuing at that kind of a sales pace was going to be pretty much unsustainable for the long run. So I thought I'd look back at 2020 before things kind of started getting crazy. And when you look at that, you'll see that even though we're well below last year, we're still at a very healthy level of sales. So to give you that number, in 2020, we'd sold $128 million. And again, you compare that to the first half of this year, we're $171 million. That's an increase of 30%. So is this year much slower than last year? Yeah, of course it is. But is the sky falling? No. Really, it's more just that we're on that continual up and down cycle created by the Fed's insane policies of, expanding and contracting money supplies. And that's really kind of been the root of the ups and down cycle since the 70s. But anyway, let's move on. We'll talk about in-town home sales for Fredericksburg. Again, let's start off by talking about the total dollar sales. In 2022, for the first half of the year, we'd sold about $95,975,000 worth of homes in the city limits. For the first half of 2023, we sold about $67,230,000. So again, pretty significant drop, 29.94% in total volume. And that's kind of roughly the same in the total number of individual homes we've sold. In 2022, we'd sold 146 homes in the city limits. In 2023, for the first half, we've sold 104 homes, so a decrease of 28.7%. But again, as I mentioned, prices are really holding pretty much steady. In the first half of 2022, the average home price was at $651,689. At the midpoint of this year, the average home price is $646,462. So that's down like 0.8%. And I really don't see that even so much as a decrease in the average price of a home. Rather, it's more that we're just not seeing people paying stupid money for things like they were at the beginning of 2022. So, as I've said before, I really suspect this year home prices will be fairly flat. I'm really not expecting to see them go up, but I'm really not expecting to see them go down much either. And in all honesty, it'll be good for us to be flat on appreciation rates for at least 12 months because, the previous 24 months, we were going up way too fast in comparison to the increases in the average person's incomes. And although, in reality, inflation across the board has really been outpacing income for quite a few years, and that's really continued to add to the problem of affordability for everything, including housing. Now, kind of on an unrelated note, or kind of related topic, I'll just share that currently there are quite a few new apartments and other various rentals in the works in Fredericksburg, and when those are complete, that's going to add a little over 500 doors to the current rental market. And much like housing prices, current rental rates have been very hard to afford. So that might help alleviate a little bit of the affordability in the rental market in the coming year or two. Now, of course, I'm in real estate. I'd much prefer encouraging home ownership over renting. But that's not always realistic for everyone, especially folks just starting out. So moving on to raw land sales in Gillespie County, same story as far as sales volume. We sold a lot less acreage than we did the first half of last year. However, surprisingly, the average price per acre has gone up in most categories, which I really wasn't expecting. And I did a little examining of that data to see why that might be with the slower sales environment, why we might be up. And really just looking at what has sold, it's really been higher quality land tracts overall and subsequently higher prices. So halfway through this year, the average price per acre in all of Gillespie County is at $25,089.04. You compare that to the end of 2022, where the average price in Gillespie County was $22,906.61. So the average price per acre this year has increased by 9.5%. And to give you just kind of the segments of the market as of June 30th, a 1 to 5 acre tract, the average price right now is at $71,708. 6 to 10 acre tract is at $25,834. 11 to 25 acre tract is at $30,699. 26 to 50 acres, we're at $21,929. 51 to 100 acres, $23,147. 101 to 250 acres, we're at $11,330 per acre. And we really haven't had any sales over 251 acres this year, but the average last year was at $12,907 per acre. And lastly, let's just talk about commercial sales. Again, it'll come as no surprise that commercial sales are following the same trend for the first half of this year as everything else. For the first half of this year, we sold about $10 million of commercial real estate. In the first half of 2022, we sold a little over $16 million. So again, down 35.1%, which is pretty much in line with the total volume of everything else. So for a quick wrap up of the 2023 is, there's just a lot less properties changing hands, and that'll likely continue to be the case through this year and probably into the beginning of 2024. But although the total sales volume may be down significantly, I'm not expecting any significant change in pricings for either homes or land in Gillespie County. So kind of the same thing. If you're thinking of selling a property and you're worried that now is not the right time, don't be too discouraged. It may take a little longer to sell, but ultimately you're still getting the same prices that you were getting last year. And if you're thinking of buying a home, now's still a pretty good time to buy. Even though appreciation rates are flat, I fully expect by the summer, fall of 2024, we'll start seeing those appreciations rise again, pretty much throughout Texas. So, the purchase you make today at last year's price could look like a real bargain by this time next year. So that's it for the mid-year report. Kind of short, but not a whole lot to talk about, just being halfway through the year. If you have questions, you can give me a call, send me an email, and of course all these numbers and more are on my site at mikestarks.com. So hope that was informative, and thanks for watching.